The dream of the founders of this association is today turning into reality as we stand here to inaugurate the another milestone, an Infotainment Club. That's a club which provides the information along with entertainment. We, the MMBA, with great joy and immense exultation, feels privileged to extend warm welcome to all present here for the inauguration of Infotainment Club 2022. Meeting is called to order. A ship needs a captain and a film needs a director. Now I would like to invite the captain director of this club, Mr. V.J. Kumaravel sir, chairman of this Infotainment Club, to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening to everybody. First of all, I thank the gathering. I thank Honorable Mr. Justice SRIMATHY ma'am for coming here. It's my greatest pleasure to stand before you and having the topic of the power of information technology, the evolution of 5G and Indian judiciary. It's a red letter day because all the great things start at a minuscule point. I am so happy to invite you all. So let's have the meeting continuation. Thank you.
May I now request Mr. V.J. Kumaravel sir, Chairman Infotainment Club, to honor the Honorable Justice Mrs. S. Srimati, Judge, Madras High Court, with the memento as a token of love and respect. May I now request Mr. Prithviraj, the Co-ordinator, Infotainment Club, to honor the resource person, Mrs. Dr. P. SHANMUGAVADIVU, Department of Computer Science, HOD, Gandhigram Rural Institute. One of the court hall, we juniors, while entering, will feel confident and address the court without fear and impediment is court hall number 18. Since her ladyship always blossoms with smiling face, keep patience in hearing us, as well as teach us the essence of advocacy by imparting the interpretation of acts and judgments. I am so happy and blessed to invite her ladyship, Justice Mrs. S. Srimati, Judge, Madras High Court, to deliver the inaugural address of the Infotainment Club.
Good evening all. Infotainment Club. I think they have started this 3 years before, I'm told. But I have not heard it, which means I didn't come here. But I'm so happy. நான் தமிழ்லையும் இங்கிலீஷ்லையும் கலந்து பேசிக்கிறேன். எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருக்குது. இன்ஃபோடெயின்மெண்ட் கிளப் அப்படின்னு ஒரு விஷயத்தை ஆரம்பித்து வி ஆர் அப் டு டேட்டுக்கு போகிறதுக்கு நம்மள மாதிரி ஆட்களுக்கெல்லாம் வழிவகுறதுக்கு இது ஒரு கிளப் இஸ் எசென்ஷியல் ஒன். ஸோ ஐ அப்ரிஷியேட் தி MMBA. முன்னாடியே ஃபோர்த்திங் பண்ணி இதை நீங்கள் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணியிருக்கீங்க 3 இயர்ஸ்க்கு பிஃபோரே. ஸோ ஐ எம் ஸோ ஹாப்பி அபவுட் தட். ஒரு ஓல்டு சேயிங் ஒன்று உண்டு. ஒரு மனுஷன் வாழறதுக்கு உணவு, இருப்பிடம், ஊரை, ட்ரெஸ் இது வேணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறது. இப்போது த நியூ சேயிங் இஸ் ஃபுட், ஷெல்டர், அலாங் வித் திஸ் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் டெக்னாலஜி ஆல்சோ. யாராவது ஒருத்தர் கூட ஃபோன் இல்லாமல் இருக்கிறது இல்லை இப்போது. ஸோ இட் இஸ் அன் எசென்ஷியல் திங். இந்த 3 இதோடு சேர்த்துப்போம், இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் டெக்னாலஜியும் சேர்த்துப்போம். ஜுடிஷியரியை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் டெக்னாலஜி எவ்வளோ தூரம் வந்திருக்குங்கிறது நம்மளுக்கு லேட்டஸ்ட்டாக ஒரு விஷயம். நம்ம எல்லாருக்கும் அது ரொம்ப பாதித்த ஒரு விஷயம். மேன்யுவலாக நம்ம காஸ்ட் லிஸ்ட் பார்த்துட்டு இருந்தோம். சடார்னு ஒரு தடவை இல்லை இனிமேல் இதில் தான் பார்க்கணுன்ட்டாங்க. ஆக்சுவலி ஓல்டீஸ் நாங்களாம் கொஞ்சம் சஃபர் பண்ணோம். நவ் வி ஆர் அப் டு டேட் பார்த்துட்டு ஈஸியாக இப்போ மூவ் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கோம். ஸோ காஸ்ட் லிஸ்ட் போச்சா, அடுத்தது பேப்பர்லெஸ் எல்லாம் வந்துருச்சு. கேரளா ஹேஸ் அப்டேட்டட் இட் செல்ஃப் அண்ட் இட் இஸ் தி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒன். பேப்பர்லெஸ்க்கு போயிட்டாங்க. இப்போ நம்ம ஆன் த வேர்ஜ் ஆஃப் பேப்பர்லெஸ். ஸோ நம்மளுக்கு இது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப முக்கியமான விஷயம். எப்போதுமே புதுசாக ஒரு கான்செப்ட் வரும்போது வி வில் ரெசிஸ்ட். அந்த ரெசிஸ்டன்ஸ் வேண்டாம் அப்படின்னு நான் கேட்டுக்கிறேன் எல்லாரையும், இன்க்ளூடிங் மை செல்ஃப். ஐ சே மை செல்ஃப், ப்ளீஸ் டோன்ட் ரெசிஸ்ட். தேர்ட் வேவ்னு ஒரு விஷயம் சொல்லுவாங்க. தி வேர்ல்டு இஸ் மூவிங் வெரி ஃபாஸ்ட். பேஜர்னு ஒன்று வந்துச்சு தெரியுமா? அது எத்தனை நாள் இருந்தது? அதனால் let us update ourselves, and I'm so happy to be here to hear from Madam SHANMUGAVADIVU about the information, the evolution of 5G and the Indian judiciary. Please enlighten us. Thank you.
A good start will always spread positive vibes. Inauguration by Honorable Judge proliferates the positive vibes to everyone present here. Thank you, Ladyship, for your energetic speech. A good and well-organized coordination would make an event successful and grandier. Now, I would like to invite our outstanding coordinator of the Infotainment Club, Mr. C. Prithviraj, Advocate Madurai Bench, to say a few words about our resource person, Mrs. Dr. P. SHANMUGAVADIVU.
Warm greeting and happy evening to one and all present here. It's my great honor to introduce our guest speaker, and we are Indian privileged to have noted educationist and an eminent writer as a special speaker for today's function. She has more than 30 years of academic experience and 18 years of research. She is specialized in academic features such as medical image analysis, parallel computing, and object recognition. Under her guidance, 10 PhDs were awarded, and presently 8 PhD scholars are pursuing their degree. She has received an award from the government of Tamil Nadu for meritorious student of MCA during the year 1987. She has published 43 research articles in the international journals and 83 articles in international and national conferences, and published 13 book chapters. She has authored 2 research books and 2 edited volumes. She has published 37 publications with Science Citation Index. She serves as a board member of various universities and colleges in Tamil Nadu. She serves as an editorial board member of International Journal of Advanced Computer Research and International Journal of Information Science and Techniques. She was sanctioned with funded major research projects of University Grant Commission, Department of Science and Technology, Indian Council of Medical Research for an outlay of 150.6 lakhs. She has received Best Paper Award for research articles in 2 international conferences. She has organized national conferences, week-long Digital India program, and 2 workshops. She has delivered more than 80 invited talks, 70 guest lectures. She is the recipient of Indo-US 21st Century Knowledge Initiative Award 2015, which is one among the 4 projects sanctioned for India, with the funding outlay of 125 lakhs. Lex Wall of Fame has announced her as one of the top 20 influenced women educators in Tamil Nadu for the year 2019, and she is Mrs. Dr. SHANMUGAVADIVU, and now serving as the head of the Department of Computer Science at Gandhigram Institute. It is our privilege to have you as our guest of honor, ma'am, and even in the midst of your busy schedule, you have accepted our invitation for this inauguration. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
For a play to succeed, script of the play plays a major role. As such, for a speech to succeed, the orator of the speech plays a major role. Now I would request our veteran resource person, Mrs. Dr. P. SHANMUGAVADIVU, Professor HOD Department of Computer Science, Gandhigram Institute, which is 6 decades oldest and esteemed university, to enlighten us about the evolution of 5G spectrum and Indian judiciary.
Thank you. Honorable Justice Madam SRIMATHY, Judge, Madras High Court, the President of MMBE, and the Chairman of Infotainment, Mr. Vijay Kumaravel, the Co-ordinator, Mr. C. Prithviraj, and his team members, and your Hema, right? Rekha. Okay, Rekha. And beloved friends, a pleasant good evening to every one of you. உங்கள் அனைவருக்கும் இனிய மாலை வணக்கம். இந்த களம் எனக்கு புதுது. காலேஜஸ்க்கு போயிருக்கேன், யூனிவர்சிட்டிஸ்க்கு போயிருக்கேன், பட் this is a kind of new experience that I am witnessing since I entered into this campus. So the functionality is different and the ambience is different, but however, I have to thank the organizing team for having given me an opportunity to peep into this world and see what's happening. And interestingly, Madam made a mention about information technology, right? So this has become already part and parcel of every one of us. It's no more a kind of alien for any of us. The reasons are, and whether we like or not, whether we desire or not, we are pushed to a corner and we have to adapt to the changing technology. Otherwise, we will be obsolete, right? And Alvin Toffler says, who is literate, who is illiterate? He says, And one who has the ability to learn, unlearn, relearn should be called as a literate. And one who doesn't have the ability to learn, relearn, unlearn should be called as an illiterate. So at times we want to be illiterate, but we can't escape, and we'll be just pushed to a corner where we have to learn and then get along with the mainstream. So this is what's happening. And fortunately or unfortunately, we are slaves in the hands of technology. We have to admit it. And there may be debates whether it is a boon or a ban or advantage or disadvantage. And we have to admit the fact that it just eats up our quality time. And the moment we go home and sit with the WhatsApp, it just eats up our time, and we forget about the food, forget about the family, and we just do some junk work, just like forwarding some nonsense which we receive from others, and we feel just happy about it. So this is the new trend that has been set. When we were very young, like when we were in the school days or when we were in the college, the ultimate entertainment was to read the books. So we used to read the book, and parents encouraged us to read books. And now you cannot advise a single child to read books because their world is in the mobile phone, right? And the parents also has the fancy to award them or just gift them with the latest mobile phone. And now all these things have become a kind of inevitable now, and we cannot escape from this. Now, right, we are slaves in the hands of the information technology or this mobile technology, whatever it is. Now, like, how to get out of it, or how to make use of this disadvantage into advantageous thing. So this is the whole question. And when Mr. Kumaravel sir came to our campus to discuss about it, he said his intention is to make me talk about 5G. And I said yes, because எங்கே என்ன வேணுமோ அதுதான் கொடுக்கணும் இல்லையா. So I said yes, and he said you have to explain about 5G, and interestingly I have to appreciate him for taking tuition since I met him every day. It was an online tuition for me, and he used to really let me know, ma'am, you just please note down this point, and this is what you have to tell here, and all these things. I was meticulously, ritually, I was taking note of all these things. Then I said, sir, please understand my position, because basically I am an academician, I am a researcher. So I'll try to correlate my knowledge with your domain, your judiciary, but please don't expect me to let's overstep and then get kind of humiliated and humiliate also. So he said, no, ma'am, like you'll be able to like patch up together, like you can sandwich technology and judiciary. Then really I got scared whether I have taken a wrong decision of accepting this at all. So I really appreciate you, sir, for the kind of commitment he has got. And the kind of commitment that he showed was highly, highly amazing, right? The commitment. Anyway, so let me get into it, and I do not know how far I'll be able to really appeal to you regarding this kind of 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G and 5G, because it is highly, highly technical oriented. And to understand the nuances of the Gs, like right from 1G to 5G, we have to understand very many things, like what do you mean by protocol, and what do you mean by standards which are set by America, then London, and many such countries. And let us not go in depth into it. I made a mention to the president, sir, to drive a car you don't have to be a mechanic. As simple as that, ABC of a car, that is sufficient. So let us just try to understand the peripheral definitions or nuances of this 5G. That will really help us to understand where are we right now, and how this 5G is going to take us forward, and how best we'll be able to harness the potential of this 5G. That is the whole idea behind talking about this 5G. Please. We just remember in old movies we must have seen villain vechirpanga, illana periya hero vechirpanga, illana like suppose there is a villain from a foreign country conversing with a hero or villain in our country, we get to see these kind of mobile phones, and these were to be called as highly luxurious component in olden days when it was introduced. Madam made a mention about pager, right? We never knew that it was there in the market, it got vanished, right? So like survival of the fittest is decided by the utility, application, and the way in which we just take into our hands. So this is, remember the phones that were originally designed for calls, making only calls. It used to be so heavy. And next, please. So this just explains to us the evolution of, topic touch panniten, evolution of 1G to 5G. Right? And let us start from the 1G, that is in 1980s it was introduced, and we remember we just made only calls with a simple mobile phone, right? There was no chance for us to do anything beyond that, our telephones. And analog voice calls, mobile connectivity was there, that was it, nothing beyond that. Then as we moved from 1G to 2G in 1990s, then we started working with respect to digital voices. So at this point of time, I must be able to distinguish between what is analog and what is digital, right? So when you draw a line like this, a wavy line like this is a symbol for analog signal, right? And when you just draw it in the form of a square, it is called as digital signal, right? These are two types of signal that you receive. So when you have continuous signal, continuous flow of information, it is called as analog. And when you apply computer and digitize it, when it becomes in the form of zeros and ones, it is called as digital signal. So digital voice calls, then text messaging was there with our small mobile phone. And the small is always beautiful, right? And even though we have these kind of very sophisticated smartphones, and these phones cannot replace the smaller ones, very sweet, and that will not have high amount of heat dissipation, and that will not really affect your health by means of lots of radiation. So this digital voice call, text messaging, basic data services were provided by 2G, and then we moved on to the third generation. G stands for generation, and then there we talked about broadband technology. What is broadband? It was very small to carry the data, and then they tried to widen the width of, the capacity of data holding ability, and it was called as broadband. Then introduction of smartphones were witnessed. And then in 2010s, then we just went up to fast mobile phones. Then we started using internets and the respective protocols, and it has become highly sophisticated. Now we have landed in the era of 5G, where we have got enhanced mobile broadband wireless for industry. I think now you must be just hearing about Industry 4.0, right? Industry 5.0. The whole world is moving towards automation. Now, whether it is, we were just talking like in lighter sense, whether it is maintenance of records, whether it is processing of the records that you have got, or preparing a report, everything has become like a kind of computer oriented. So when you talk about this kind of automation, when you talk about this computerization, and they have just gone a level above all these things, and now they are talking about how best this whole world can be automated with respect to education, with respect to medicine, healthcare, business analytics, industry, and just name anything, and everything is included in the kind of Industry 4.0. So let us talk about this artificial intelligence towards the end of the session. So when we talk about this kind of Industry 4.0 or Industry 5.0, what really made the whole research community to think about the necessity of introducing this 5G or talking at length about big data? I think every one of us must be hearing about the terminology, quote unquote, big data. Right? Nama big boss ketrko, right? Dada ketrko, but now we are living in the era called data-driven era. Why it is being called as data-driven era? And each and every activity that we do is giving rise to generation of data. Right? So when you just drive a car, smart car, it just generates lots of signals which is going to be received by some server. Right? When you switch on the mobile phone, then you get connected to Google server, it starts collecting information. And when you just send an email to your friend, that again becomes a corner for data collection. So whatever that we do in internet, right, that becomes a kind of source for data creation. So there is volumes and volumes of data being generated across the world, and that is giving rise to this big data. Right? So at one corner you have the big data, on the other side, and because the whole world is moving towards industrialization as well as automation, now they just come with good number of algorithms, programs, which can make use of this data and try to give us useful information. So on the other side, we have got very powerful algorithms being developed, deployed. Then the third point is you have got good gadgets to manipulate all these things, right? We never thought your mobile phone is going to be a camera, a video recorder, an audio recorder, then what not. We never thought, because there is a tremendous advancement in the technology world, we are able to confine everything in a mobile phone. So now we have got a very powerful gadget which can store data as well as which can process data. So now there is a triangularization. Data is available, you have the technology, hardware, and then you have the software. So because we have all these three components, people are able to think aloud, right? How best we can harness the potential of all the three and make the best world for the new generation. In this line, they just thought of, now they have got a lot of data available with us, and there is a necessity for us to harness the benefits of the data, and that has given rise to the development of 5G. Because கடைவிரித்தேன் கொள்வார் இல்லை அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி நம்மக்கிட்ட நிறைய டேட்டா இருக்குது. அந்த டேட்டாவை எப்படி மேனேஜ் பண்ணுறது? You have to send it from one point to another point, right? And we just share data across the borders, across the state, across the country, right? Just across the globe. So when we do like that, we may be sending audio information, video information, or mixed form of audio and video, or text information. So now you must have encountered a lot of experiences wherein when you try to download some data, like ஒரு சுத்திட்டே இருக்கும் இல்லைங்களா, சுத்துதே பூமி சுத்திட்டே இருக்கும். What does it mean? See, you have large amount of data that has to be downloaded, whereas your 4G or 3G, whatever it is not sufficient enough, is not powerful enough to download it in a single stroke. Right? So there is a mismatch between the quantum of data to be downloaded and the capacity of any kind of technology, any kind of generation that we are talking about, networking, to manage the data. So naturally we have to keep upgrading the technological advancements, and that is the key point for thinking about the next one called this 5G that we are talking about. So now we have got it, right? So let us look more into it. This is what I made a mention about, the technological aspects of all kinds of 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G and 5G. And as you look into this, you can just talk in terms of what is the starting here and then development here. Then there are different kinds of technologies which support it. Like these are all computer science oriented, let us not worry much about it. பார்த்தோன்னே எங்கள் சாருக்கு தூக்கம் வந்துருச்சு, he's yawning. ஸோ இதை பற்றி நான் ஒன்றுமே பேசல சார். அண்ட் திஸ் இஸ் அபவுட் ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி, லைக் எவ்வளோ ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக நம்ம டேட்டாவை டிரான்ஸ்மிட் பண்ணலாம், தட் இஸ் த ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி. அண்ட் தென் வாட் இஸ் ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி, நீங்கள் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க, இந்த ஒரு ஸ்பெக்ட்ரம் மாதிரி போட்டிருப்பாங்க இல்லையா. அப்போ ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி நிறைய இருந்துச்சுன்னா பக்கமாக இருக்கும். Like morning when you are very energetic, right? If you are asked to bounce, you can bounce faster. சாயங்காலம் இப்போ குதிக்க சொன்னால் ரொம்ப ஸ்லோவாக பண்ணுவோம். ஸோ குயிக்காக இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு சிக்னல் இருந்துச்சுன்னா தட் இஸ் ஹை ஃப்ரீக்வன்சின்னு சொல்லுவோம். ரொம்ப தள்ளி இருந்துச்சுன்னா அந்த சிக்னல் வரையாது இப்படி வரச்சுன்னா அது லோ ஃப்ரீக்வன்சின்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ ஹை ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி கேன் டிரான்ஸ்மிட் டேட்டா இன் அ ஃபாஸ்டர் ரேட். ஸோ தட் இஸ் அபவுட் த ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி. பேண்ட்வித் இஸ் த கெப்பாசிட்டி, கொள்ளளவு. And then we talk about the access, how it can be accessed. There are different kinds of access mechanism. நான் அதெல்லாம் கொடுத்துருக்கேன். கம்ப்யூட்டர் சயின்ஸ் பிடிச்சவங்களுக்கு அது பிடிக்கும், இல்லாட்டினா அது பார்த்தா பிடிக்காது. So I am not touching upon it. அதுக்கப்புறம் different kinds of networking. See, now the whole idea about this 1G, 2G up to 5G is only network system that are there in the world. So there are different kinds of networking. The first one, as you take it, is public switched telephone networking, PSTN அப்படினு இருப்போம். Computer science படிச்சிருக்கீங்கன்னு சொன்னாங்க. So there is another one called integrated digital switching networking, ISDN அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So that ISDN is the one which again talks about networking. So we have all these kind of technologies from 1G to 5G to provide the maximum possible networking. At the same time, we must be able to share data at ease. That's the whole idea. Next please. So now what is 5G all about? It is going to provide you a lot of promises and opportunities in terms of more amount of data can be processed, then more devices are going to get interconnected, and then there's going to be instant responses. Why? Because it has got higher bandwidth, higher frequency, so data processing is going to be very simple, manageable, easier and quicker. Right? So now, as we talk about this more amount of data, it helps us for improved customer experience. For instance, sir made a mention about digitization of all the cases that you handle in the court. See now, if you are going to have a repository which can accommodate all the cases that you have handled since the inception of this particular branch, so it will give a kind of confidence that this court has handled all these things. Now, you are going to provide a better, improved, enhanced consumer experience, then you will be able to connect more devices because you have broader bandwidth. It will help you to connect as many number of mobiles or any kind of such internet operated devices together. And there is a statistics which says that in the year 2025, 1.7 billion users will be connected by means of this 5G. So this is the estimation, but we do not know. This may get even overnumbered. As the technology grows, it may get further accelerated. We do not know. And then it is going to help us with faster connection, speed, and then virtual as well as augmented reality. Now, I think you must be knowing about this terminology called augmented reality, right? And suppose if there is going to be an augmented reality a product, right? So you can train your junior advocates like how to handle a case, right, with instances. So it is like teaching as if you are teaching in person in reality. So this is called as virtual and augmented reality. So this requires a lot of space, a lot of computing power, and because it is provided by 5G, probably it will help these dreams to get realized in the best possible way. And then the next one is e-health. As we go to any hospital, like everything is being automated, right? Even if you miss your card, then they will just browse and then get you all the details. In foreign countries, this has like taken the greatest possible height, but now we are trying our best to cope up with those developments. So now it is like e-health, then transport and logistics. Like suppose if you want to like really monitor, if you send something to say Canada, for instance, you are able to track how far your parcel has traveled, right? And what is the destination, when it will reach. So everything is possible only with the support of networking. So then environmental monitoring, like which area is being highly polluted, which is not polluted, and where water, bodies are there, where it is disappearing, all those things can be monitored. Then smart energy network. The smart energy is one of the most vital predominant area which is going to get triggered, or it is going to be supplemented, complemented by the growth of this 5G, because now everyone is talking about smart grids. They just want to make the energy sector to be automated with the support of artificial intelligence. So, you know what is artificial intelligence? செயற்கை நுண்ணறிவு, right? So, God has blessed us with biological intelligence, like it is based upon the genes that we inherited from our parents, or the experience we have gathered from the surrounding, from the peer group, from the siblings, and our knowledge is getting built up. So the same kind of idea is being simulated in a computer in the form of an algorithm which can think and behave like a human being, right? So my request is, like, when you find time, please Google on Sophia and then try to see the interview given by Sophia, who is the first ever virtual humanoid which is given citizenship. You wouldn't believe that, a machine is sitting and talking, unless otherwise you get a look at the backside of the Sophia, where you have got all the gadgets and electronic components. It's very hard for you to believe that you are just listening to a machine who is talking with all expressions, with smile, surprise, like agony, everything will be expressed. 32 expressions, facial expressions can be exhibited by the humanoid Sophia. We do not know even we can have 32 kind of expressions, but for smiling, laughing, and being angry, right? So smart energy network is the next promise, and then smart agriculture. Now, every one of us, despite our main profession, right, we want to own a farm, and then we want to go for farming, and we want to promote farming, right, because everyone is having a kind of inclination towards agriculture. Now, we don't have to worry, even if you have 1 acre of land in Ooty, never mind, you can have IoT being deployed there, and it can be monitored by your mobile phone. You can even switch on the motor motor pump can be switched on, switched off by sitting here, and you can typically monitor what is happening when you have to do the, when you have to spray the pesticide, when you have to spray the fertilizer, everything can be done because you have got a broader bandwidth with the support of which you'll be able to monitor all the details. Hope you're able to understand. See, now you have to see visually whatever is happening in Ooty, for instance, right? Then your network must be able to support that particular area itself. Adu full of photo eduthu adu namakku kaatanum illingla. So when you have to accommodate that much amount of information, necessarily we need a broader network, something like 5G. So smart agriculture, smart retails. Now I wonder how many of us are interested to go to shops for shopping, because everything is in the mouse click, right? We are happy with Smart Deal, and we have Flipkart, then Amazon, because it just pours with lots and lots of better choices, right? So we seldom go to the bazaar or to any kind of purchase, physical purchase. Everything is done virtually. So this is going to get still upgraded, and you're going to have better experience. And probably you can have a feel of like you have an opportunity to go to a trial room and get to see how it looks on you. And that also will be there. Like you can just take your photo and then see how you look in that particular dress. All those things will become real. So then, vehicle to everything communication. Now, every one of us must be knowing about IoT. IoT stands for Internet of Things. Like when you connect your mobile phone with your fridge, refrigerator, or with your washing machine, or with your smart stove, it is Internet of Things. It is, your washing machine is connected to internet, and your mobile phone is connected to internet. You are able to interoperate. So this is what we call as IoT. There is a kind of upgradation from IoT to IoE, which stands for Internet of Everything. It does not restrict to probably washing machine or your oven or whatever it is. And even you can try to operate any kind of device. You can, now we have seen, right? We have got smart fans. Right? You can operate with your mobile phone, right? Smart ACs are there. Smart TVs are there, right? அவங்க எல்லாம் என்ன டிசைட் பண்ணியிருக்காங்கன்னா, நம்மளை இருக்கிற இடத்த விட்டு நகராமல் உட்காந்து நம்ம ஹெல்த்தை ஸ்பாயில் பண்ணணும்னு முடிவு பண்ணிட்டாங்க, ரைட்? எனிவே, so vehicle to everything communication, like between vehicle and vehicle, it's possible. And then wherever you want to communicate between the vehicles, it is possible. Then drone delivery. Already we have seen videos on this, like how drones are being used for door delivery. And then remote control. See, suppose if you are going to monitor farming, sitting in your place, in a far-off place, it is remote control, remote monitoring. And then smart manufacturing. Smart manufacturing is you are going to automate the entire process, including quality control or quality check, right? And normally, like when you have this quality control, there will be a person who is sitting and monitoring. Even that monitoring can also be automated, so it is going to be no man manufacturing, right? And there is no need for any kind of intervening of human being, and it will be 100% automated. Let us not worry about it. Even to do that kind of automation, it should be done by us, right? Because our brain is going to be used for developing all those kind of devices. Next, please. So this will give us an idea about how the speed is increasing with respect to data. This is 3G, this is 4G, and this is 5G. So top gear la poitrukom, right? Poho poro. So this is all about 5G. Next, please. So the major characteristics of 5G include, like it's going to be much faster, 100x. Then it is going to help us to interconnect more amount of devices. Then it is going to be more responsive. What do you mean by responsive? Like when you are sending a mail or when you are sending a message in the form of a video or text, it's going to be instant, right? And in no time it will get transmitted. In no time you will be able to receive. So your system becomes more and more responsive, and the response time will be faster. Next. So what are the benefits of 5G? Number one, deliver real-time data insights for faster decision making. Now, you cannot treat this 5G as a standalone component, or you cannot take this as an isolated component, this 5G. This 5G is going to have its own interactions with the other latest technologies, something like artificial intelligence. Right? So now we are living in the era called data-driven world, and this artificial intelligence models are being called as data-hungry models. I'll just give brief information about this artificial intelligence. So whatever that you do, what are the activities that we can do? Basically, I'm a teacher. Please don't mind me asking questions. What are the kinds of things that anybody can do? Forget about your profession in general. You can think. Yes, please. Eating, sleeping. Okay. For that, we don't have to, really use our brain, right? But even then, while eating, while sleeping also, we should be conscious, right? Right. Like, what are things that we do in general? Very good imagination. We think, right? We take decisions, right? We try to be as rational as possible, right? By looking at a person, you are able to form a perception. What kind of person he or she could be. Every? Because your brain has got a model, ஒருத்தர பார்த்தா அவங்கள பத்தி ஒரு opinion, it may be right or wrong. So ஒரு perception பண்றதுக்கு உங்க brain பழகி வச்சிருக்கு, right? அதுக்கப்புறம் இன்னைக்கு வெளியில வந்தோனே like you feel a kind of sultry. அப்படின்னா இன்னைக்கு மழை வரப்போகுது. See, you have got a kind of historical perception in your brain that's being applied based on which you take decisions, you make predictions. அதுக்கப்புறமா ஒரு classifications. எதாவதுனா நம்ம classify பண்ண முடியும். Classification பண்ணலாம். அதுக்கப்புறமா like whatever that you do with your brain. அது உங்களோட intelligence apply பண்ணி, IQ apply பண்ணி, you can do very many things. So இது எல்லாமே we are doing by using our brain. ஆண்டவன் கொடுத்த அறிவை வச்சு பண்ணுறோம், right? So what the scientists they thought was, they decided to mimic or simulate the entire process of human brain functionality, and that has given rise to a new terminology called artificial intelligence, though this is not a new one. This was introduced in the year 1985, right? Then it was a kind of hibernation period for artificial intelligence, though the developed countries were working very fast with regard to artificial intelligence, and they started developing systems called expert systems. Expert systems, when you go to the doctor, right, the doctor will ask stereotype questions. உங்களுக்கு என்ன பண்ணுது? அப்போது எனக்கு காய்ச்சல் இருக்குது டாக்டர். சரி, காய்ச்சல் எப்போலேருந்து இருக்குது? 2 நாளாக இருக்குது, இல்லை மார்னிங்லேருந்து இருக்குது. லைக் கோல்டு இருக்கா? ஆமாம் இருக்குது. காஃப் இருக்கா? ஆமாம் லைட்டாக இருக்குது. காஃப் எப்போலேருந்து இருக்குது? என்ன சாப்பிட்டீங்க? They just shoot us with a series of questions and we give the response. And if there is going to be an expert system, you have to answer the same kind of questions, and that will be able to make a decision as it is done by the doctor. ரைட்? சொல்லுவாங்க டாக்டர் கிட்டே போய் சொல்லக்கூடாது, லாயர் கிட்டேயும் போய் சொல்லக்கூடாது அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. பட் எனிவே, டாக்டர் கிட்டே போய் சொல்கிறது போய் சொல்லாத அடுத்த விஷயம். பட் டாக்டர்ஸ் தே ஜஸ்ட் ப்ரிஸ்கிரைப் த மெடிசன்ஸ் நாட் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் த காஸ், இட் இஸ் பேஸ்ட் ஆன் த சிம்டம்ஸ். அதனால அவங்க என்ன பண்ணுறாங்க, இந்த சிம்டம் இருந்தால் நமக்கு ஒரு மருந்து கொடுப்பாங்க, நமக்கு நேரம் நல்லா இருந்தால் அந்த மருந்துலேயே சரியாயிடும். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா நம்ம திரும்பி அதே ப்ராப்ளத்தோட டாக்டர்கிட்ட போவோம். திரும்ப நமக்கு ட்ரையல் பார்ப்பாங்க, நீங்கள் ட்ரையல் பார்க்குற மாதிரி. ஸோ ட்ரையல் பார்ப்பாங்க, அந்த ட்ரையலில் ஒர்க் அவுட் ஆச்சுன்னா ஃபைன், இல்லைன்னா அந்த சீரிஸ் கண்டினியூஸ், அப்புறம் ஆட்டோமேட்டிக்காக சரியாக போயிடும். ரைட்? எந்த மருந்து சாப்பிடாமே சரியாக போயிடும். ஸோ இட் இஸ் வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் தட் யூ ஷுட் ஆல்வேஸ் லுக் இன் டு த காசேட்டிவ் ஃபேக்டர். அது நமக்கு உடம்பாக இருந்தாலும் எதுவாக இருந்தாலும். ஸோ இந்த ஆர்டிஃபிஷியல் இன்டெலிஜென்ஸில் என்ன பண்ணினாங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னால், தே ஜஸ்ட் இந்த எக்ஸ்பர்ட் சிஸ்டம் தான் தே ஜஸ்ட் டெவலப்ட் இன் ஃபாரின் கண்ட்ரீஸ். லேட்டர், ஆஃப்டர் அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் த பொட்டென்ஷியல் ஆஃப் திஸ் ஆர்டிஃபிஷியல் இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ், ஈச் அண்ட் எவ்ரி country, whether it is a developed country or developing country, they started working in this domain, and government of India has pumped lots and lots of money to propagate the awareness and knowledge about artificial intelligence across the universities. So, and each and every institution is working exclusively in artificial intelligence. Either vachi we can do wonders with artificial intelligence. Whatever that we cannot do manually is possible with artificial intelligence. Suppose if we have, for instance, 10,000 records, right? And if it is given to a group of advocates to sort it out with respect to the category of the case, it will take months. But whereas if a model is trained to do this categorization, in no time it will be able to finish it. Right? அது வந்து சிவிலா கிரிமினலா அதுக்குள்ளே என்னென்ன கேட்டகரி இருக்குது எல்லாமே it will be able to finish. So what is to be done? You have to take the algorithm and you have to train with respect to the data. Suppose if I want to develop an artificial intelligence model for judiciary, I have to take the corresponding information. Right? And suppose if it is going to be for medicine, I have to train the model with medical records. This is what we have to understand. In addition to that, like when we talk about this artificial intelligence models, we have to keep in our mind it can do lots and lots of things. For instance, if I can take a picture about this entire hall, and if I give it to an artificial intelligence model, which can do, a concept called image tagging, right? It will give, this is the mic, this is the podium, this is the table, and this is the almirah, books, then human faces, male, female, everything can be done. In addition to that, and suppose if you train such kind of model, and if you give this image, it will give captioning. Because by looking into your dress code, right, it will just come to a conclusion that it is a meeting of advocates. It will be able to give, right? And it can do the head counting also. So all these things are possible, and the power of artificial intelligence is going beyond our imagination. Now, days may not be far away where if the researchers hit upon an algorithm which can think by itself. So that will be the end. So if they become emotional and sentimental, right, then we are nowhere. It can manage everything, but it will not happen because because even we have to do right. We can put a checkpoint, right? So now it is like I was making a mention about making models which can give better insight into the data. So in order to collect lots and lots of data, you need a broader spectrum like 5G, which can accommodate as much of information as possible. And as we talk about this data, they are basically divided into textual information, which just runs into text. Or it can be audio, like you just nowadays, இப்போ என்ன பண்ணுறோம் அப்படின்னா, சார் கூட எனக்கு வாய்ஸ் அனுப்புனாங்க. சப்போஸ் நம்ம ஃபோன் எடுக்கலனாலும் தப்பிக்க முடியாது, ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணி அனுப்பிச்சிடுவாங்க, ரைட்? ஸோ திஸ் நோ அதர் கோ. அப்புறம் திரும்ப நம்ம லைனில் வரப்போ, மேடம் நான் ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணி அனுப்பிச்சிருக்கேன், கேட்டுருங்க, கேட்டு தான் ஆகணும், வேறு வழியே இல்லை. ஸோ திஸ் பிகம்ஸ் லைக் there is no way of escaping. ஸோ அப்போ ஆடியோ அனுப்புகிறோம், சம்டைம்ஸ் என்ன பண்ணுறோம், ஏதாவது ஒரு இடத்துக்கு போனால் அது வீடியோ எடுத்துகிட்டு அனுப்புகிறோம். ஸோ இது எல்லாத்தையும் அகாமடேட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு there is a necessity for us to have better technology, and that solution is 5G. இப்போ என்ன சொல்ல வரேன் அப்படின்னா, எவ்வளோ அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் இன்ஃபர்மேஷன் நம்ம கலெக்ட் பண்ணுறோமோ, that information becomes a kind of a value for us. It is a kind of treasure for us. இப்போ for instance, if you are going to give me a collection of records of your cases, then if that is given to me, I will digitize it. I can develop a model which can do lots and lots of operations in that data. நான் சார் கிட்ட சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேன். And what do you do? Like probably you burn your midnight oil and try to understand about the entire case, and then you prepare your supporting points. The same thing can be done by an artificial intelligence model, and if you give the entire history, it will be able to give the gist of it. The summary of the entire case can be prepared by the artificial intelligence model. And suppose if you are not available for tomorrow's trial, right, and you can train the model to talk in your words, like the way you talk. So suppose if I want to develop a model which I want to talk like me, right, I have to give collection of videos and audios. It will get trained, it will understand my choice of vocabulary and the pace of my delivery, and accordingly it will get trained by itself, right? So the kind of end results will be amazing. And so deliver real-time data insights for faster decision making. Why faster decision making? It happens instantly, whereas it is not possible, it is not viable if you do it by means of manual operation. Then the next one is it improves the productivity of the field as well as remote workers, because now you have got better networking, better Wi-Fi connectivity with 5G, it's possible. Then the third one is it accelerates use of process automation. I made a mention about Industry 4.0, and I request my friends just to go and Google on what is meant by Industry 4.0. It just speaks about the major domains in our society like education, healthcare, industry, business, to automate the process as much as possible. So that is going to be possible. Then the fourth one is deliver superior apps for performance. Now this 5G is going to push as many apps as possible, because you have got better bandwidth, better speed, better frequency, so it happens. Then this is going to create new customer experience, right? And altogether, ஒரு அட்வொகேட் கிட்ட வராங்க அப்படின்னா எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் மேட்டர்ஸ். ஸோ வந்தால் எப்படி ஹேண்டில் பண்ணுவாங்க, எப்படி அதை ரிசீவ் பண்ணுவாங்க, எப்படி அவங்களை அகாமடேட் பண்ணுவாங்க, ஆல் திஸ் திங்ஸ் மேட்டர். ஸோ த சேம் கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ஆம்பியன்ஸ் இஸ் கோயிங் டு பி கிரியேட்டட் இன் டிஃப்ரெண்ட் செக்டர்ஸ் வித் த சப்போர்ட் ஆஃப் 5G. நெக்ஸ்ட் ப்ளீஸ். ஸோ ஐ வண்டர் ஸ்டில் அங்கே இருக்கிறவங்களுக்குலாம் இது தெரியுமான்னு தெரியல, ரொம்ப சின்னதாக இருக்குது. தெரிஞ்சா சந்தோஷம், தெரியாட்டி ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம் இல்லைங்களா? Anyway, I just focus on this Industry 4.0, then the various utilities, then transport and logistics, as well as consumer focus with respect to IoT. Now, this is what we are having, like tools and different inventory control, that is the automated industry operations that's happening with respect to industry automation. Then as we go to the utilities, then we talk about, now we have got smart electricity meters, then we have got smart meters for water connection and all those stuff, and that is going to be functional now. After this is deployed, everything will be automated. And then we talk about smart buildings. My husband is here, and his scholar is also here. And now the funding agencies of Government of India is focusing on coming out with solutions for smart buildings, right? And it is going to, react to the environment with respect to the kind of defects that may encounter. So smart buildings are going to be there, and I think முன்னாடி கதை மாதிரி சொல்லுவாங்க, லைக் பில் கேட்ஸ் அவர் வீட்டுக்குள்ளே போனால் அவருடைய மூடுக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி the light will be adjusted, அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த ஏசி அந்த chillness will be adjusted. So that's going to happen in every house with the support of 5G, right? So it is going to be like based upon your mood and based upon your sentiments. So smart buildings, then transport and logistics, we talk about telemetrics, then emergency calls like இப்போல்லாம் when suppose if your car breaks down, you don't have to rush to any kind of service point. They come forward, or software vechirukkranga, adu vechi operate pandranga, they identify what is the problem. It just becomes a kind of mobile service. So that is going to be enhanced further. And then asset tracking, அந்த காலத்துல எல்லாம் ரொம்ப பழைய படத்துல எல்லாம் ரொம்ப பெரிய வில்லன் இருப்பாங்க, அவங்களுக்கு ஃபாரின்லேருந்து சரக்கு வந்துட்டுருக்கோம், திடீர்னு ஒரு புயல் மாதிரி காட்டுவாங்க, சரக்கெல்லாம் வந்து மூழ்கி போச்சு, that is the end point அப்படிம்பாங்க. There is no need for such kind of tragedy. Now anything that is shipped will be able to be tracked properly, so you'll be able to manage that. Then consumer focused IoT, that's with respect to smart homes. Now the kind of home appliances are going to get augmented with these facilities, and mobile broadband that is supported by 5G, and these are all the future things. As I made a mention about remote maintenance. Suppose days may not be far away where if you say that when you have smart gadget that is available at home, for instance say smart electricity meter, and the person need not come to your doorstep to your home and then correct it, and by sitting in his place may be able to solve the problem because everything is automated, software oriented. And then smart cities, and this people talk at length about smart cities, but still it remains as a dream. We do not know when that will get realized in the fullest potential possible. Then intelligent transports, then video streaming. I think every one of you must be knowing about video streaming, because நம்ம மூவிஸ்லாம் டவுன்லோட் பண்ணுவோம் இல்லையா, we just download our favorite movies. So what is streaming? Like it is going to be like எப்படி நம்ம டேப்பை திறந்தா தண்ணி எப்படி கொட்டிகிட்டே இருக்கோ அது மாதிரி data is going to be poured into your device through these kind of 4G, 3G, 2G, right? So because this is going to have a broader bandwidth, it is going to help us for massive video streaming. So ஒரு நிமிஷத்துல ஒரு படத்தை நம்ம டவுன்லோட் பண்ணிக்கலாம், right? How much ever big it is. And then nowadays they have subtitles also, right? And suppose if you want to listen to a movie in Chinese language, if you are conversant with Chinese, it is possible because it comes with that particular information also. Please remember, when you try to download it with subtitle, it is going to be a kind of overhead in the storage capacity of that particular one. So now there is no worry about all those things. Then live events and broadcasting, already we have got a lot of live broadcasting with respect to sports, and whatever that happens in any nook or corner of any city in the world, we are able to see that with the support of, and because the foreign countries already they have 5G, sometimes நம்ம வீட்ல சுத்தும் ஏன் அப்படினா there is a mismatch between அந்த ஸ்பீடுக்கும் நம்ம ஸ்பீடுக்கும், that may be the problem. So all those things will be alleviated. Then innovative use cases, you must be knowing about use cases, like suppose there is a doctor, right? If a doctor comes out with a kind of how to detect skin cancer, for instance, or how to detect liver cirrhosis, for instance, in such cases now they will be able to develop a model which will be able to predict. Ipo neenga pathinga appdin sonnaka, I think you must have listened to Sundar Pichai's video, right? And he says that any kind of disease can be predicted by the artificial intelligence models at the age of 35-40, right? ஒருத்தருக்கு வந்து heart attack வருமா, இல்ல will he or she be diabetic or hypertension வருமா, எல்லாமே கண்டுபிடிக்க முடியும் by monitoring their health status as well as their lifestyle and then the various parameters. அந்த அளவுக்கு artificial intelligence models have become very intelligent. Right? So there are going to be a good number of innovative use cases with the help of which we may be able to live a very, very healthy life. Next, please. So let me not go very deep into it. So the biggest pain points that 5G could help to overcome, these are the 6 major domains. The first one is energy and utilities. I made a mention about the smart grid and many such things, right? The second one is the manufacturing unit, and the third one is public safety. Now, every one of us are quite used to online banking. நிறைய பேர் பேங்க்குக்கு போகிறதில்ல, செக் எழுதுறதுக்கே மறந்து போச்சு. So why? Because the convenience, right? But at the same time, there should be a monitor who should monitor the entire process of each and every transactions of SY. சார் சொன்னாங்க ஒரு சாஃப்ட்வேர் இருந்தால் மால்வேர் இருக்கும் அப்படின்னாங்க. ஸோ அது மாதிரி whenever there is an opportunity, there are people who try to make use of that, right? So if that is a scenario and there is going to be a watchdog, whether it is online transaction or any kind of thing where cyber security is required, there is going to be an agent that sits and then does this kind of watching all through. Suppose if you get an opportunity to probably make an online transaction at 12 o'clock in the midnight, which is a kind of unusual event within the time frame of your activities. Suppose you 10 மணிக்கு மேலே யூஸ் பண்ண மாட்டீங்க, ஆனால் 12 மணிக்கு ஒரு நாளைக்கு if you are doing this kind of transaction அப்படின்னா அது நீங்கள் கரெக்டாக கொடுத்தா கூட தப்பாக திரும்ப கேட்கும். assuming that இது நீங்கள் இல்லாமல் வேறு யாராக கூட இருக்கலாம், நீங்கள் கரெக்டாக தான் கொடுத்துருப்பீங்க. அப்புறம் it will give caution saying that this is not your usual time of transaction. அந்தளவுக்கு இப்போ இம்ப்ரூவ் ஆகிருக்குது. Because each and every activity is being monitored, it is recorded, it is synthesized and the decisions are being taken. So இந்த மாதிரி ஒரு there is going to be wide spectrum of choices that will make our life simpler and easier. There is a need for us to think about this 5G, which is going to be a boon to do all these activities. So then public transport and then this media and entertainment. நீங்கள் by any chance பெங்களூருக்கு போனீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னால் அந்த between 7 and 9 o'clock எப்போ பார்த்தாலும் மார்னிங் ஆகட்டும் ஈவினிங் ஆகட்டும் இங்கேருந்து கொஞ்சம் தூரம் போகிறதுக்கு ஒரு 1 or 2 hours ஆகும். So now thanks to Google it is able to show us like which route is congestion free and which route is like free from all this kind of traffic jam. இதெல்லாம் எப்படி பாசிபிள்னா it happens instantly, like it is able to take the satellite picture, it just identifies which route is jam packed and which route is not so with respect to the destination. இது எல்லாமே அவ்வளோ இன்ஸ்டன்ட்டாக ஸ்விஃப்டாக ஃபாஸ்ட்டாக நடந்துட்டுருக்கு, all because they have got the technology with us. Next please. So coming to your point, right? I'll just touch upon this because I am not an expert, and I'll just touch upon this. The unique features are like it helps us to make use of free and open source software based projects. Now this is going to open up a development of new applications. Suppose உங்களுக்கு யாருக்காவது ஒரு ரொம்ப ஸ்மார்ட் ஐடியா இப்படி ஒரு ஆப் டெவலப் பண்ணால் என்ன அப்படின்னு சொன்னாக்கா then it's a good opportunity for us. உங்களுக்கு சப்போஸ் இப்போ உங்களுடைய clients எல்லாம் மேனேஜ் பண்ணுறதுக்கு if you want to develop an app, it's an opportunity for us. So this development of or the progressive development of all these technologies are going to open up as many new opportunities and doors as possible to tap the potential and make use of this technology for our development and for well-being. Next one is single unified portal access for the entire court. That is, there is going to be a common portal. For instance, for India, there will be a common portal to which every one of you will get connected. That may be a kind of the future. And then the next one is QR code to access the case details. இப்போ நம்மளாம் ரொம்ப காமனாக யூஸ் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிட்டோம் QR code, ரைட்? ஏதாவது ஒரு இடத்துக்கு போகிறோம்னா கூட ஒரு if you want to like visit a particular place, அந்த QR code வச்சு we are able to reach. So நீங்கள் என்ன பண்ணலாம் அப்படின்னா instead of just listing all your case details, you can have a QR code, அதோடைய description மட்டும் வச்சா யார் வேணுமோ அவங்க மட்டும் they can just access to the QR code, so the data storage will be reduced, right? So these are smart ideas. அதுக்கப்புறம் பார்த்தீங்க அப்படின்னு சொன்னாக்கா there are 7 simple ways. The first one is e-court services using mobile app. The next one is like e-code website. I think every one of you must be experiencing that. And then SMS pull as well as push, like sending as well as receiving. Then information kiosks. And probably like இப்போ information kiosks நீங்கள் ஒன்று வச்சிங்க அப்படின்னா இந்த சேம்பருக்குள்ளே வரப்போ யார் யார் அவைலபிளாக இருக்கிறாங்க, எந்த ரூமில் அவைலபிளாக இருக்கிறாங்க, அவங்களுடைய சின்ன ப்ரொஃபைல் என்ன அப்படின்னு சொன்னாக்கா they will be able to really access and get information using that. And then emails, it's very common now. Then judicial service centers can be created, and these are all the major things with respect to court. Next, please. So this e-court services app, like this is going to provide, I think every one of you must be using this. So now I don't want to ponder all over again. It helps us to search saved cases by name as well as surname. And then search saved cases by year. Then search saved cases by the file number. And then get the QR code printed on your file, and facility will be made available on ecourt.gov.in, which is upcoming. Then check case status on the go. Like suppose inaliki varuma enoda list aguma agada illa ipa kaalaila aayirka, everything can be just learned. அதுக்கப்புறம் all government offices, banks, companies, institutions, organizations need to print QR code and paste on the cover page, and wherever your file may move each of the employee, we call this as tracking the file system, how it is moving அப்படினு சொல்லிட்டு. Or officer can check the current case status with the help of the QR code facility. இது நம்ம ரொம்ப இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங்காக எங்கே பார்க்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொன்னாக்கா அரவிந்த் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் போகிறப்ப பார்க்கலாம். ஸோ லைக் என்ன ஸ்டேட்டஸில் எங்கே இருக்குது அவங்க சொல்லுவாங்க, இது அந்த செக்ஷனில் இருக்குது, போய் எடுத்துகிட்டு வாங்க. The same thing is possible with respect to this also, with the support of artificial intelligence as well as with 5G. Next, please. So what are the dreams and milestones to be achieved by e-court? It is paperless courts, audio-visual presentation facility. You can have audio-visual presentation which can be used for future reference, as well as it may help us to clarify certain things in the future. Then video conferencing facility, like get connected to people who are far away, like remote connecting. Then automatic recording of evidences, then modeled on the pattern of Code 21 of USA, because they just come out with a model, we try to mimic it. And then modeled, existing files, scan, OCR software can be used. Next. So this is the entire scenario, right? I don't want to go detailed into it. And you have to have the hardware, right? And you have the necessary connections. Then there is going to be a provision of facility for recording whatever is happening. It can be sound, or it can be video, or it can be the entire processing. Then you have got the necessary firewalls, like to ensure security, so that others should not try to tamper on your information record or whatever it is. So all put together, then the associates, people who are involved in the entire process, all put together will make us to realize or visualize or understand the functionalities of e-court. Next, please. So what are the benefits? Why should we move towards e-court? What are the promises that are given by e-court? The first one is record of court can be stored on just few DVDs. You don't have to have these many kind of things. Now, like over the period of time, as we travel down in the future, now the requirement for storage, it just increases, right? And that can be combated by going for this kind of digitalization. Then immediate retrieval of record is possible, right? We just don't have to just, run around and ask your friend, or just go one after the other by manual search. You just click onto it, get the details. And then physical barriers are broken, accurate record of evidence takes place, accuracy is ensured. Then visual animation and presentation of arguments can be seen, which will be a kind of helpful thing for the practitioners, juniors. And then internet aids are available for citation as well as research. So now the kind of data that you have is an ideal platform for going for research. Like you can do a lot of data analytics with the available data. And for Madurai, you'll be able to develop complete data analytics with respect to what are the kind of crimes that happen, and in what season it happens, from which area it is happening, and what kind of age groups are involved in it. All this things can be analyzed, and you'll come to a kind of a framework and understand, and you can even go for mitigating these kind of crimes that are happening or that may happen in the future. So then real-time monitoring of cases is possible. Like on the fly, you can just do it, right? You can be even in a car, you can sit it at your home and then just attend all this kind of things. Then congenial and comfortable atmosphere increases the efficiency, right? In a clip, what, madam? Apadiya? Okay. Right. Okay. But the thing is, no, காரில் உட்காந்துட்டு இது ட்ரையல் அட்டென்ட் பண்ண வேண்டாம். இந்த இன்னொரு நிறைய சாஃப்ட்வேர் இருக்குது மேம். அப்போ வந்து இவங்க ஜூனியர் கொடுக்கணுன்னா அதை ரெக்கார்ட் பண்ணி கொடுக்கலாம். ரைட். நெக்ஸ்ட். So functions of e-court like e-filing of cases, then touchscreen enquiry kiosks can be deployed, then dictation capturing system. அதை dictate பண்ணுறது காரில் பொறுப்பு கொடுக்கலாம். மேடம் அது கண்டமாக போட்டோம். Okay. So digitization of the entire record room, then email communication system, then Wi-Fi networking, right? These are things that you can just think of, but these are only a kind of illustrative points that I quote. But what can be achieved is beyond our imagination. We do not know. Tomorrow there may be a complete transformation that will take us to a different world of functionalities, and we have to like change, because if you don't change, we become extinct, right? So change is a permanent thing, and we have to keep changing. And சொல்வாங்க இல்லையா, ஓடுனா ஆறு நின்னா குட்டை அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ ஆறில் தான் தண்ணி எடுத்து குடிப்பாங்க, குட்டையில் தண்ணி எடுத்து குடிக்க மாட்டாங்க. ஸோ இட் இஸ் வெரி வெரி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் தட் வி ஹாவ் டு கீப் சேஞ்சிங் வித் த சேஞ்சிங் டெக்னாலஜிஸ், சேஞ்சிங் என்விரான்மெண்ட் அண்ட் சேஞ்சிங் ஆம்பியன்ஸ். அப்போ தான் நம்ம வி வில் பி லைக் versatile, இல்லைன்னா நம்ம ஸ்டேல் ஆகிடுவோம் இல்லையா. ஸோ நெக்ஸ்ட் ப்ளீஸ். So e-filing of cases, it helps us for digitization of records. Then full utilization of e-court is possible. Then immediate services of e-summons can be managed meticulously. Then convenience of filing from home or office. Filing can be done. Filing a case can be done from home. And then cost of maintaining paper files will be saved. No chances of misplacing of files, right? Juniors திட்ட வேண்டாம், எங்கே வச்ச அது இதை நான் கொண்டு வந்தேனே அப்படின்னு திட்ட வேண்டாம், பிகாஸ் எல்லாமே பெட்டிக்குலர் இருக்கும். Disadvantages. No, you can say that the system has crashed. As simple as that. ஆமா. அண்ணா சொல்ல முடியாது, ஒரு காப்பி என்கிட்ட இருக்கேன்னு சொன்னா கஷ்டம். Right. Then trials will be expedited in the best possible way. Next please. So touchscreen entry kiosks, like technology similar to bank ATMs, whatever that you are familiar with. இருக்குது. Very good. Okay. By pressing it. Excellent. So then broadband or satellite communication, then decongestion of court. எல்லாரும் வந்து இங்கே சேர்ந்து இருக்காமல் கொஞ்சம் நமக்கு congestion can be overcome. Less requirement of staff in facilitation centers. Kiosks can be put up in different locations, so people will get information like as quickly as possible with the closest proximity as possible. Then litigants will save cost as well as time. திரும்ப நிறைஞ்சு என் கால் தேஞ்சு போச்சுன்னு சொல்ல வேணாம், அவங்க வீட்டிலேருந்தே டீட்டெயில்ஸ்லாம் பார்த்துக்கலாம். ரைட். நெக்ஸ்ட். என்ன சார்? ஏன் சார் ஜிபே பண்ணிக்கலாம் சார்? இல்லை, ஜட்ஜ்மெண்ட்டை நீங்கள் பிடிச்சி வச்சிட்டிங்கன்னா வந்துடும். ஜிபே இருக்குது, பேபால் இருக்குது.
We are uploading the judgments in the ஆன்லைனில் நீங்கள் பார்த்து நீங்கள் அங்கேயே எடுத்துக்கிடுவீங்க நீங்கள். அதெல்லாம் இன்றைக்கி நாங்கள் இப்போ ஒன்லி என்னென்னா we are at the mercy of the parties. அதான் உண்மை.
கண்டிஷனல் ஜட்மெண்ட் வச்சுருங்க சார், பணம் வந்தால் தான் அதுக்கப்புறம் அது ரிலீஸ் ஆகும் அப்படிங்கிறவன்.
As a ladyship pleases, அவ்வளோதான்.
ஓகே ஓகே. ஆமாம். So then dictation capturing system, this is going to be very useful to every one of you, even for us, like it is Dragon natural speaking software you made a mention. Then dictaphones, then dictation software on PC as well as laptop, you can interface them and use, and then saves time of the judges. Then dictation can be given in spare time or even at home sitting across, like you can be wherever you are, you can just record and then send it. And this, there is kind of we call it as transcription from voice to text or voice to some other format. And then dependency upon stenographers is reduced. The whole process of judgment writing is expedited. Then dictaphones can be used even while traveling. Then limited use of these technologies has already begun in the judiciary, because it is already in place, and new things are expected to fall in place and aligning themselves with the whatever that you already practice. Next. So digitization of record rooms, because this is going to occupy a large amount of space, right? So the space crunch can be managed by going for digitization, and it is just about the statistics, how much amount of space can be managed with the floppy disk or with hard disk or ROM, etc. And just go to this one hard disk, like you know what is hard disk, right? The main storage in a computer system. So if you have a hard disk of 40 GB, that can store 2 crore pages. We can just imagine the capability. Then the savings is maintained in maintaining record room will be huge. You can save on that, and also it is easy to access. So data can be retrieved at ease and in a faster rate. That's the advantage. Next. So email communication, like we are thoroughly, comfortable and happy with this email, right? So dedicated email servers are installed in all courts, right? Hope you have one email server which is dedicated for you and with the due security. All the courts are to be put in VPN, that is virtual private network, which is meant for a particular community with broadband or satellite channels. That is, we call them as dedicated channels. And then judges and court officials are to be given email IDs, digital signature and training. Appropriate court-specific email software is to be developed. Otherwise, Google 3D information la. So, we exclusive then judgment Google right? Then appropriate court-specific email software is to be developed. Then inter-court and intra-court communication will become fast as well as secure. Then cost of paper, printing and distributing mails, letters will be saved. Orders from the superior court will reach instantly to the subordinate court, ensuring immediate implementation. Next, please. So Wi-Fi networking, what is Wi-Fi? Like when you have physical connections, like it is a typical physical telephonic connection. The same thing can be achieved by means of wireless communication that we call as Wi-Fi. It is wireless fidelity networking. And this conventional system of connecting various computers through LAN means wired one, connecting with respect to wires, has inherent weakness, because that may lead to, suppose when a signal is being passed, it may become weak after it travels at an amount of time, right? The signal will get weakened, so you may not be able to get the data properly. Whereas Wi-Fi enabled network can be installed in a court complex on separate frequency than normal wireless networks like mobile phones, everything can be accessed with that. Then any computer with required login and password can connect to the Wi-Fi network. Then Wi-Fi networking is cost effective in a long run, because installation costs may be a little higher, but in the long run, then the operational cost will really help us to have a trade-off on the installation. So change of location of computers from one room to other does not require like fresh laying of communication cables. So it's much secure and faster than normal networking, and computers can share common printers, other peripheral devices with Wi-Fi facility. And why do we talk about this Wi-Fi? This is the most important phenomenal feature of 5G. Because it is going to enable this Wi-Fi operations in the best possible way, and we are just going to witness the benefits of 5G, especially with regard to Wi-Fi. So, I think time is yeah. So, Mahatma Gandhi says, be the change you want to see in the world. So, world is changing with the technology, and namak pidikidho pidikalayo maari dhaan aganum. Maatram ondre nilayanathu. Right? And normally what we do is நமக்கு ஒரு perception இருக்கும், ரைட்? இன்னைக்கு வந்து யார் என்ன இருக்க போகிறாங்களோ அப்படின்னு, வேறு வழி இல்லை. சம்டைம்ஸ் இப்போ கேட்குறது எப்போயாவது யூஸ் ஆகும். லைக் இன்னைக்கு ஒரு சின்ன விதை போட்டோன்னா அது நாளைக்கு இது மரமாகலாம், இல்லை அது முளைக்காமல் கூட போகலாம். பட் ஈவன் தென் வி ஹாவ் டு பி ஜஸ்ட் ஹாவ் அ கைண்ட் ஆஃப் ஓப்பன் மைண்டட்னஸ் டு ரிசீவ் சம்திங் நியூ. அண்ட் ஒரு ஹஸ்பண்ட் அண்ட் ஒய்ஃப் இருந்தாங்க. நீங்கள் நிறைய கேசஸ் ஹஸ்பண்ட் அண்ட் ஒய்ஃப் கேசஸ் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க. யூஸ்வலாக ஹஸ்பண்ட் அண்ட் ஒய்ஃப் அப்படின்னா 2 sides ஆஃப் த காயின் அப்படிம்பாங்க, ஹூ டோன்ட் ஃபேஸ் ஈச் அதர் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு இன் மோஸ்ட் ஆஃப் த ஹவுசஸ். ஸோ இந்த ஹஸ்பண்ட் ஒய்ஃப் 2 பேருக்கும் என்னாச்சு அப்படின்னா, அந்த ஒய்ஃப்க்கு மியூசிக் ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும், அந்த ஹஸ்பண்டுக்கு மியூசிக்னாலே பிடிக்காது, ரைட்? ஹி ஜஸ்ட் ஹேட்ஸ் லிசனிங் டு மியூசிக். பட் வேறு வழி இல்லை, ஒய்ஃப் வாண்ட்ஸ் டு கோ ஃபார் அ மியூசிக்கல் கன்சர்ட். ஸோ அந்த மியூசிக்கு போகிறாங்க. போயிட்டு இவருக்கு எப்படா மியூசிக் முடியும்ன்றிருக்கு, இவங்களுக்கு இந்த மியூசிக் முடியவே கூடாது, இந்த கன்சர்ட் முடியவே கூடாது அப்படின்ட்டுருக்கு. அப்போது ஜூபின் மேத்தாவுடைய கான்சர்ட் அது. மியூசிக் அந்த கான்சர்ட் ஆரம்பிக்கிறப்போ ரொம்ப அழகான ஒரு மாலை போடுறாங்க. அந்த மாலை போட்டு இட்ஸ் ரோஸ் கார்லன். இவங்களுக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிக்கும், ஃபேன் ஆஃப் ஜுபேன் மேத்தா. ஸோ எனக்கு ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருக்கு, ஒரு அழகான மாலை போட்டிருக்காங்க அப்படின்னு. இவருக்கு ஏற்கனவே எங்கள் வயிற்றுச்சலோடு உட்காந்துருக்குறாரு. அப்போ சரி சரி அப்படின்னு சொல்லி விட்டுடுறாரு. அப்புறம் அந்த கான்சர்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா தே வில் பி கண்டக்டிங் த ப்ரோக்ராம் இல்லையா, அவர் இங்கே போகிறாரு அங்கே போகிறாரு. ஸோ ஒரு டுவர்ட்ஸ் எண்ட் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அவர் கழுத்தில் எந்த மாலையுமே இல்லை, எல்லாமே அப்படியே உதிர்ந்து வெறும் அந்த நார் மட்டும் தொங்கிட்டுருக்கு. அவருக்கு ஹஸ்பண்டு கேட்கணுமா, சொன்னார், அங்கே பாரு உன்னுடைய மியூசிஷியனை, வெறும் கழுத்தில் பார்க்க கேவலமாக இருக்குது, ஒரு கயிறை மாட்டிட்டு நிற்கிற மாதிரி இருக்குது அப்படின்னாங்களாம். அப்படியா நாங்கள் ஒய்ஃப் பார்த்துட்டு சொன்னாங்களாம், பிகாஸ் யூ கேன் நாட் எவர் அவுட்ஃபிட் விமன் ரைட். அவங்க சொன்னாங்களாம், அவர் ஆரம்பிக்கிறப்போ கழுத்தில் மாலை இருந்துச்சுங்க, இப்போ பாருங்கள் அவர் பெட் ஆஃப் ரோசஸில் நடந்துட்டுருக்காரு, அந்த ஸ்டேஜ் ஃபுல்லாக வெறும் பூ கொட்டியிருக்குங்க, ஒரு பூவில் நடந்துட்டுருக்கிறாரு அப்படின்னாங்களா. ஆஸ் யூஷுவல் ஹி வாஸ் ஸ்பீச்லெஸ் அண்ட் அக்செப்டட். என்னன்னு சொல்ல வரேன்னா, இட் இஸ் நாட் த கொஸ்டின் ஆஃப் ஸ்பீச்லெஸ், அண்ட் வி ஷுட் ஆல்வேஸ் ஹாவ் பாசிட்டிவ் பர்செப்ஷன். நாராக பார்க்காம அதை பூவாக பார்த்தா the life will be very beautiful, and God has given us and blessed us with a very beautiful life. Let us live the life with contentment, with happiness, as well as நல்ல எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணி, நல்ல யோகா பண்ணி, நல்லதை சாப்பிட்டு, நல்லதை நினச்சி, நல்லா தூங்கி சந்தோஷமாக இருப்போம். ரைட். I wish every one of you a very happy living. I thank every one of you, and I thank the Infotainment Club for having given me a wonderful and different and enterprising opportunity to meet every one of you, the august body, respected Judge Madam, and all the honorable advocates and the entire team. Thank you everyone. Wish you all the best.
Madam has really done justice to both the club and the topic, ma'am.
Thank you.
You have given the information along with real-time example and also along with the humor, madam. Thank you, madam, for enlightening us regarding one of booming technology, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, a successful event ends perfect only after thanking the people who made the event success. Now, I would like to invite Mr. N. Kamesh, member, Infotainment Club, MMBA, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening to everybody. In this precious moment, I want to thank Mrs. Honorable Justice SRIMATHY and our chief guest, Mrs. Dr. SHANMUGAVADIVU, for spending the precious moment with us. Meanwhile, I want to thank our President of MMBA and Secretary of MMBA and Women Lawyer Association Secretary, Ms. Sivasankari. I would like to thank our brothers and sisters for cooperate with us for conducting this program. Our chief guest is clearly explained how the law is related to the future technology. I hope this program is very useful to our legal fraternity. Thank you.